To give a final touch-up for his preparation of his title defense at East vs West, Paul Lynn recently had a practice session with none other than Toddzilla Todd Hutchings. Not many people have seen that footage, so I'll show it towards the end of this video. But first, East vs West 7 May 6th pay-per-view link will be in the description. The 95 kilos East vs West right arm title is on the line. Paul Lynn will be defending his title against the Bulgarian Sasho Andreev, who is a multiple times WAF world champion. Sasho competed in Istanbul right before the time when East vs West started in 2020. He defeated Irakli Zirakashvili with a score of 5 pins to 1. Paul Lynn has competed 3 times at East vs West and he has won all 3 of his matches. In the first match, Paul defeated David in a very close 3 pins to 2 match. He was an underdog against the 85 kilos WAF world champion David Samushia from Georgia. In his second match, he was once again an underdog against Irakli Gamtanadze, who was making a comeback in arm wrestling. And Paul Lynn won easily against Irakli with a score of 3 pins to 0. After that, he was once again an underdog against a multiple times world champion, a legend, Rustam Babayev. He was down 2 pins to 0 against Rustam, but then he went in a hook which caused the injury to Rustam Babayev's pectoral muscle, and thus Paul Lynn was declared the East vs West champion with a score of 3 pins to 2 or 1-2 because the opponent cannot continue after injury. And Paul is not happy with this title victory. He wants to defend it and he wants to prove to the entire world that he belongs on that level. I think Paul kind of intentionally underplays his own endurance. I believe his endurance is great because if we look at his first match against David Samushia, he lost 2 rounds, and those 2 rounds were when he hit David, he got stopped and his arm kind of got opened up because David's superior hook power once the match gets stopped. And then Paul lost in long matches. And still after such 2 losses, he was able to recover his endurance and flash pin him in the final round. That shows that his endurance is on point. Maybe there are 2 kinds of endurances. The first one is your ability to recover fast between rounds. And that is where Paul Lynn is excellent. He recovers really fast. And the second kind of endurance is once the match gets stopped, your endurance to stay in that position. Maybe that's where Paul Lynn is lacking, and that's why he says that his endurance isn't that great. So for such arm wrestlers, smart strategy would be to lay down if they can, or maybe even not. Because you know that you are going to recover fast. So even if you lose in a long round, you have to give it all you have so that the other person also gets tired trying to pin you. And then you can recover faster and win in the next round. I don't know what Paul's strategy is, but that's what seems to be the case. Now let's talk about the Toddzilla vs Paul Lynn practice. This practice session happened about 4 or 5 days ago. And clearly you can see that these two are not fresh. Toddzilla is sweating from his bald head. Paul Lynn probably also had a few practice sessions, and I heard that these two also practiced with each other before this practice pull. I don't know what the result there was, but beating Todd Hutchings in a hook is kind of a suicide. And Paul Lynn, I heard that he was able to do that a few times. I know that's practice, but even in practice, pinning Toddzilla in a hook, that's a seriously high level of achievement. After that, we can see that Paul Lynn is kind of getting gassed out. Todd's endurance in a hook is almost unmatchable, but that doesn't tell us enough. I think Todd would easily beat Sasho as well inside a hook. So if he's beating Paul in a hook, I don't think we can gather much information from this kind of practice pull. And talking about his opponent, Sasho Andreev, he's really short. 5'5" at best, I would say. So when you go up against such arm wrestlers, Paul Lynn is about 6 foot tall, so about 7 inches taller than his opponent. And Sasho Andreev's forearm is about this long. And when you go up against such arm wrestlers, it is kind of a bait trying to top roll them. Because you will see that short forearm, you will see that if I go in a hook against him, it will be suicide. So better I start top rolling. You need to have a really focused mindset to go for that hook straight away. No matter what your intuitions are when you put your elbow on the table, do not try to top roll Sasho Andreev. It is almost an impossible thing to do. Paul Lynn will not be able to do that. So I hope this time Paul Lynn's plan, unlike the Rustam Babayev match, is to go straight in a hook and meet Sasho Andreev there. Sasho is explosive, but he's not really fast off the go. So Paul Lynn can shock him with his explosive start. That's my guess, and that's what he needs to do. He needs to put Sasho on the defensive to win this match. If Sasho remains at the center or slightly on the offensive, the match is over from there. Paul cannot do anything from there. So his best shot will be explosivity and speed. And the big thing is that Paul has already defeated the 85 kilos world champion, and he is better now than what he was about 9 months ago. So now he needs to beat a 90 kilos world champion. So how much difference can there possibly be with this 5 kilos weight category jump? I hope there isn't much. Engin Terzi recently asked Sasho about his weight. Sasho said that he is currently weighing around 90 kilos and he has never been bigger than that. The heaviest Sasho that ever existed was probably like 91-92 kilos. Paul Lynn is currently at about 100 kilos. And he will cut down from there water weight, and during match day he'll probably be over 100 kilos. So let's say Sasho is 91 and Paul Lynn is 101. There is a good 10 kilos difference between them, but that is not realistic or ideal thing to say. Ideally there is no gap between them because the weight cap is 95 kilos. Nobody is stopping Sasho from gaining weight, maybe except his genetics, but no one else other than that. And another interesting fact, Sasho has been a vegetarian for last 4 years, but he has also been a vegan for last 2 years. That is interesting, and he did say that he has not lost any power whatsoever while being a vegan for last 2 years. I think Paul Lynn is definitely in this match. It's kind of sad to say that may be because of his size advantage, but since there is a weight cap in this match, because in some earlier matches at East versus West, there wasn't a weight cap. Like John Brzezinski was much bigger than Zoloev when he beat him. I think there was a weight cap in that match too, but it wasn't something that Zoloev can get up to. Maybe a similar case in this one. Sasho has never been 95, but another thing, because that also proves that we shouldn't complain about a weight difference in this one. Sasho himself said that he will not cut down below 90 kilos. He wants to compete in the 95 kilos division. Whatever the reasons are, the most likely reason is that he doesn't feel that there is any competition for him below 90 kilos. That's why he wants to get to 95 kilos. And if he gets beaten there, then it's totally on him. I think we may see a surprise from Paul Lynn. He may win this thing, but man, it is difficult to bet against Sasho. I would go with a safe bet. A safe bet, not a emotional bet, but a sensible or betting from my brain. I would say 3 pins to 2 Sasho Andreev. That will be my prediction. Like the video, subscribe to the channel, and I'll see you again.